Hello, everyone. Today with me is Todd Westra. I am so excited to have this professional on. And in fact, I knew Todd was coming on today, so I had to put on a collar shirt because this guy raises the bar on
Oh,
professionalism.
whatever.
And anyway, Todd, glad to have you here.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you. Appreciate you inviting me on.
Yeah. It's my pleasure. So would you mind to just give a little backstory to the audience on who you are, what you do, and then
Sure.
we can get into how you utilize HighLevel.
You bet. Yeah. So Dar, back in 2006 is the first time I started outsourcing professional services. And when I had an audio video company at the time, and which was back in the day when we used to do home theaters, automation systems, all that cool everything you see on MTV Cribs, that was what we did.
Yeah.
And it was a fun business, but I needed to outsource drafting. And so lo and behold, I meet an architect, and long story short, within a year, I bought this guy's practice in the Philippines, and I had 40 architects that were my employees now. Then the economy tanked 2008 and 9, and all construction stopped, if you can recall. And
I do. Is that year? It got me as well. Yeah.
It was a rough time. And so I literally transitioned all my architects from being architects into being marketers. And it's a very funny transition story. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but I'll tell you this. Yeah. By 2010, we had built and sold a lead generation / lead qualifying campaign for a medical pendant company. And it was a great, successful exit, really, really fun. And then I said, I'm going to do this again. So I went back to the Philippines, started another team, built another organization. And within a year and a half or so, we had landed the perfect client, and we grew from, it was in the health and nutri space. And we were doing all online offers, and we literally grew from about $10,000 a day in sales to just under $1 million a day in sales within about 6 months. Yeah.
Wow.
And so we did $100 million in 6 months. It was a nuts, absolutely insane. It was literally wild, wild west days when there were hardly any regulations. There was, we were doing everything from Facebook, mastery to literally all sorts of stuff. But the funnest thing about the whole experience was that, and of course it did die down, and we, there was 4 or 5 of us partners who managed different parts of the animal, and some people were stupid and some people were awesome. And so we ended up, anyway, the years went on. Needless to say, digital and affiliate marketing was our game, and it was so much fun. And I built a multinational corporation where I had agents here in Utah. I had agents in the Philippines on 5 different islands of the Philippines, and really built an amazing customer service network, as well as outbound cold calling and stuff like that, lead qualifying. Mm-hmm. And it was just a fun time. Needless to say, there's always a pitfall, and the biggest pitfall in that whole industry is merchant account mastery. Learning to manage merchant accounts is a disaster. It's a nightmare. Everything sold online is considered high risk, and most of these merchant banks will routinely just take a swatch out of all of their merchant accounts and shut them off, so they can tell the government who's regulating them, yeah, we're routinely canceling X% of our high-risk merchants, and then they just set you back up again the next month. And it was this crazy ride of up $1 million, down $2 million, up $3 million, down $1 million. And it was just kind of a roller coaster that kind of wore me out. And so I left the entire industry, started doing a consulting model with Google out of California, which was a whole lot of fun, totally different conversation. But in COVID, the whole thing died. And I thought, time to work on brand and brand building. And so I figured at the time I was 45, and I'm like, I'm 45. I got a lot of cool life experience here. What can I do to build on that? And so I started a podcast, and I started using Go HighLevel. And Go High Level was very, very young at the time. As we all know, they kind of went out into the public marketplace in 2019.
Right.
And so here I was in like January, February of 2020 thinking, I need a cool tool to replace Calendly because I thought Calendly was lame. I need a cool tool to automate my podcast production process.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, this is the tool. And then above and beyond that, I noticed every week I could get on a phone call with Sean and Robin and Brune literally every
Right.
week. And I was like, who are these guys? Like,
Yeah.
What kind of founders are on a weekly phone call with their clients asking them what's working, what's not working?
Yeah.
It was crazy. So I absolutely fell in love with the product. And to be honest, I did not even have any intention to start a marketing agency at the time. But I thought this is a pretty sweet tool. And then they started like developing their website funnel product. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, that's pretty cool. And then they developed these other things and other things. And I just kept thinking, this is a pretty awesome team to work with. And so
Yep.
I ponied up on their SaaS program and I launched a SaaS model in end of 2020
Mm-hmm.
and pretty much rode that through 2021. And it was an interesting game.
Yeah.
So yeah, where do you want to take it from there?
Well, as we both know, the SaaS business model is good.
Yeah.
Digital products are good. But I think SaaS can, depending on which niche you arrive at and
Right.
what you offer them, you can make life really easy on yourself or really hard on yourself.
Right.
And there are different levels of sophistication in terms of clients.
Totally.
Some that are not sophisticated enough, and I don't mean like high society. You know what I mean?
Right.
No,
I
and
totally
then there
know
are
what you
some
mean.
that are too sophisticated that
Yeah.
are second guessing you all the time, and so forth. So
Yep. Yep.
finding the right niche and the right offer, right, and frankly, then just
Totally.
having the tenacity, stick with it. I mean, that's kind
Totally.
of the winning formula. But we've made plenty of mistakes along the way and encountered different things, and I'm sure you have learned some things
Yeah.
as well. Anything you want to share, whether it's
Yeah, no,
positive
totally.
or negative, to help guide people?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I am probably one of the biggest super fans of the team at HighLevel in that
Oh, yeah.
I love the people. I love their
Mhm.
support. I love how willing they are to adapt to changes that we request and want. As you and I both watch them grow and mature as a company, one of the things that I regret doing is more affiliate plays.
Mhm.
But I do love the fact that I've been able to maintain my account over these years through some affiliate partners, but also I've been able to utilize the platform in ways that I think most people aren't, which I would love to share a few things.
By
that
all
I've done
means.
that,
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah,
Really quick though, on the affiliate, I do
Yeah.
want to tell people this, and I kind of have my own love-hate with the affiliate. I think the affiliate program is amazing, and and the people who are out there doing it, God bless them, right? Good for them for taking the
Right.
initiative to doing it.
right,
But for people who are looking at HighLevel, and
Yeah.
of course, when we came in, there was no, like I just signed up. I
right,
wasn't like, whose affiliate link should I are you going to offer me? There are people that come to
Totally.
me, what do you have versus someone else? I'm like, just go with someone else. Right. Because
Seriously.
I don't want to get into that.
Right.
I think I think you should just at least set good expectations. And so if
Yeah.
you're teaching people SaaS, you're saying, hey, then you should know a little bit about it more so than just
Right.
following theory, right? So
I agree.
whether it's 10 or 30 or 50 or 100 clients,
Right.
It's not always good. And I think you need to be
Agreed.
able to have gone through those mistakes and errors so you can coach people appropriately and say, watch out for this and watch out for that.
100%. 100%.
Whoever's affiliate
I
link,
wish. Yeah, I
someone
wish
uses.
I totally did the SaaS and I onboarded 100 clients in a few months, and it was really great. Like I had a really great offer,
Mhm.
but it was it was hard to maintain, and it was hard to keep them focused, and it was hard to. So I honestly, like, I feel like I played the wrong game, or maybe I'm just bad at playing that game with that specific client avatar. But what I did do is I kind of I leaned into the product more than I leaned into those clients. And what I mean by that is I started looking around at, and this is a valuable lesson for, I think, most of the listeners of this thing, is that understand which avatar you want to hit, because if you're too broad, it's a joke. And,
Right.
And I'll share one story that was one of my SaaS clients that I had this conversation with, and she said, great girl. She was like, Todd, I want to help women rebound from, problems that they've had, like emotional crisis and stuff like that. I'm like, okay. What's your product? And she's like, well, I have a way of working with, and I'm just like, oh, okay, come on. Like, she did have a system. She had a process, bless her heart, of how she kind of goes through and helps them rebound from a traumatic experience or what have you. And I said, well, why, first of all, why just women? Do men not have traumatic experiences? And she's like, well, yeah, but anyway. And I said, okay, so let's take a step back. I can appreciate you wanting to help other women. Let's do this. Let's go down this pathway. What kind of women are you trying to help? Oh, all types. I want to help all women because they all have traumatic experiences. And I said, okay, so like housewives? She's like, yeah, totally. Postpartum and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, what about like CEO women who are like super like powerful women that maybe lose a job because of their gender, or maybe they got eked out while they were having a baby or something like. Tell me about that. And she's like, oh yeah, I could totally help those women. I said, okay, now let's take these two extremes. We've got this CEO powerhouse woman who's got massive payroll. And then you've got this other woman who, bless her heart, is a housewife, love her to death. My wife has 7 kids. Like, I totally like love my wife and appreciate her more than anything. But I said to her, which client is going to be willing to pay you more money for the exact same service? She's like, okay, light went on. And she's like, okay, I think I'm going to help CEOs who maybe didn't get a job or maybe got,
Right.
I'm like, that's perfect. And now she's got a thriving like rebound business. She helps coach them through these rebound scenarios. And like, I'm like, good for you, girl. Like, this is really awesome. And so I had to take a step back when I was noticing that this managing my SaaS offer was more maintenance than it was making me money. And I was losing money on the offer, and I was like, ugh, I hate losing money on offers. So I took a step back and I said, you know what? I have grown multi-million-dollar business. I've scaled with hundreds of employees. I know the challenges that these guys face. Why am I helping someone who's less than $500,000 in revenue when I could be helping someone that's 10 million plus?
Right.
So I raised my sights. I did the exact same offer almost, but I called it fractional CMO, and I started servicing companies who were generating a lot of money. And I started implementing marketing practices that I've been doing for 15 years. And I've just bundled it slightly different. Used GoHighLevel to manage all the attribution tracking, to do all the text and email sequencing, to log sales agents in and monitor calls. Like, it was awesome. And I was like, man, if people knew that GoHighLevel could be a mid-market masterpiece,
sure,
I think more people would pay a lot more money. I can tell you what, for the amount of money I was charging for that product, it was the same amount of money as having 50 affiliates pay me $200 a month.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it comes down to, again, niche and avatar. A lot of people coming into the SaaS business.
Niche and avatar.
Because they are, and offer, right? And they hear local businesses. And SaaS is great for local businesses.
Totally.
But it's also great for, let's think outside the box, right? It doesn't have to be just for a local business, because those other businesses also need a lot of the tools.
Totally. And what I was finding, Dar, that was throwing me off was that I would have clients who were on my SaaS who discovered that it was Go High Level because all these Go High Level people were showing screen shares and like, oh, that's what my
Right.
CRM looks like. And then
Yeah.
they would literally just disconnect from me and go sign up on someone else's affiliate plan. And I was like, wow, how much love do
Yeah.
I need to show you? You know what I mean? It's like crazy.
I
So,
tell people right up front now. I used to hide it for
totally,
that reason.
totally. Totally.
I
So,
Go
I
ahead.
think Dar, like you've done an amazing job of building SaaS and showing people how to build SaaS. I know you got a cool program, but for me, it boiled down to what client do I want to work with?
Mm-hmm.
And I've got 4 or 5 clients that are great SaaS users within Go High Level. I still have a team in the Philippines, and we do very specific offshore support for about 5 or 6 different other Go High Level affiliates.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not my model. So don't come pitch me, don't come to me looking for
Yeah.
a good team, but I do have a great team.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is that, I just love the fact that I've picked some cool avatars. I use Go High Level for my business
Mm-hmm.
and for other things that I've got going now. And I think that's what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it's a much bigger tool than we're giving it credit for. Look for some bigger money that needs the same tool.
Yeah. That's great advice. Absolutely. And don't be afraid to tell people what you're doing. Right.
Totally. I agree.
So we have a strategic partnership
Yeah.
with a medical EHR software, and
Cool.
it's great. They introduced me to someone this week, and that
Cool.
someone has roughly 110, 120 clients of
Love
their
it.
own. This person's an
Love it.
influencer. He's got courses, various things, and I could see that. Well, in the past, I would be like, "Oh, this is maybe a good opportunity, but I hope they don't find out it's HighLevel." Right?
Right.
Now I'm like, here's what we do, and here's the platform we build it on. And
Right.
either that, I'm like, have you heard of it? So right off the bat, I just nip it in the bud. And if they
Right.
say yeah, then I'm like, great. If they say no, I'm like, well, you know what? It's kind of like WordPress.
Right.
Anyone can build a website on WordPress. Some people build amazing sites. Some people, well, not so much. And so this is
Totally.
an incredible agency platform that has all
Right.
these tools that you can create your own offering, put your logo, on it, and go out to businesses. And so when I was telling this prospect earlier this week, I told him about. I'm like, okay, it's HighLevel, blah blah blah. Told him all we did, and right up front, I'm like, look. Well, is it first or second meeting? I forget which it was. I said, if you go check it out and you feel like you want to get your own account, there's no problem with that. Use my affiliate link. I'll help you out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we get on the next day. He texted me. In fact, he's texting me again today. Hey, let's get on a call. I want to learn more about this HighLevel.
Right.
So we get on and I'm going through it all. And I'm like, look, I'd be naive to think that you haven't considered getting your own account, right? He was like, oh, yeah, right. I'm like, well, there are pluses and minuses to getting your own or coming with me. And we just went through those. And I'm like, with me, you get this. And with your own, you get this. And, if you want to go your own, that's great. Use my affiliate link, and I'm happy to give you some guidance, So, I've learned to go that route rather than hiding it. Yeah. And in fact, this show that we're recording right now, I was going to start this 2 years ago, and I didn't because I didn't want, in particular, a small group of people to find out it was HighLevel because I thought they might, who knows what.
Totally.
Well, turns out my suspicions came true. They stole my stuff, poached some clients, did some bad things. We've recovered from that, but now I'm like, they did it anyway. I should have been publishing anyway. I would have a couple of years worth of content. So
totally,
just be good.
Now it's a funny game we play, man. And And Go High Level, bless their hearts, are so creative in their support for both styles of model. I think that there's some great room for an affiliate play. I'm actually helping or for a SaaS play. I'm helping a guy right now who's a friend of mine, and ironically, he's on somebody else's affiliate plan, which kind of drives me nuts because now I'm helping him build like a massive SaaS play for his community, and I'm like, maybe I'll start him over. But anyway, the cool thing about Sean and Varun and Robin and their team is that they have developed this thing so that you can play whatever type of style you want, and we'll support you. And I think that that's the biggest benefit to Go High Level is that they'll support you no matter what you want to do as long as you're using their platform. And so what do you and I do? We just keep using the platform in different ways. I have a huge play right now that I'm launching with not startup founders, but people who are past launch. And I call it the Captain's Council. I've got this theory that there are so many founders out there or CEOs who are running companies who get so excited because they launch. And really, if you look on YouTube and talk about like business strategy, about the only content you find is launching. You don't find hardly anybody telling you, what do you do after you've launched? What do you do when you've hit that 5 million in revenue mark and you're like, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do next. Like nobody's telling me what to do next. And having been there and done that, I'm putting together a community of CEOs in a peer group, at kind of advisory board levels. And I'm using Go High Level to manage this entire thing. And what I love about what they're doing right now is the community platform is evolving.
Oh, yeah.
Fortunately, I'm on Slack channel with some of the guys on the dev team for that. And I'm like giving them feedback very regularly on what's working, what's not working. But I'm taking my Mighty Networks community, moving it into Go High Level community. And it is just it's a new fantastic opportunity to generate revenue in Go High Level. And my Captain's Council, check it out at captainscouncil.com, is really fun because it's the marketing, the landing pages, the SMS, the calendaring, the group calls, everything is developed inside of Go High Level. Completely different use case than what I originally was going to use Go High Level for, but they have the room to do that. You know what I mean? It's how many software suites can you just develop a completely different model and still live in the same ecosystem?
Right. And the cool thing about it all being in one place is everything is reading everything else, and you can trigger off of so many different actions, whether it's a form submitted or not submitted, or a video watched at a certain percent, or you name it, calendars being scheduled. So
it's amazing. It's amazing. And so for those people listening out here, I guess the biggest message I'd like to get across to everybody is, don't feel like you got to be stuck in one thing within Go High Level. In fact, I recommend that you do get stuck in micro portions of Go High Level, because I've seen guys within the Go High Level community who have made it a really successful business just selling review engine. You know what I mean? Just selling reviews to restaurants. It's a great little product. And I'm like, that's cool. That's really smart. I've seen some people make it just using like other tiny little pieces of Go High Level, and they don't even tell people it's Go High Level. They're just like, yeah, this is my little whatever widget that does this. And it's like, that's smart. It's a really smart play. Yeah. But I think where people run into the most problems, Dar, is the guys that go into, or girls that go into this and they open up and they enable every feature to every SaaS client, or every, particularly in SaaS, they open up every feature and a client logs in and they get so enamored by everything, they don't know where to focus and they never do anything.
You're absolutely right. Not only that, but it's hard to support, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to support if you don't know it really, really well yourself, if you don't have a team that can help you, as your numbers grow.
Totally.
So Yeah, as I look back, I mean, we do an awful lot for our niche, and I kind of
Yeah.
like, man, we should, simplify is
Yes.
a
Yes.
great, a great thing to do. So,
Totally.
if I were starting over, I would do a few things differently. Of course, we are embedded in the niche we do now and over
Right.
deliver a lot of value, but yeah, I would
It's
simplify
awesome.
for sure.
It's awesome. No, it's really fun, and it is really fun to be part of a community that is as nerdy as we are.
Yeah.
I just thought it was hilarious at the last conference to see all these people that were just like, you know, we all nerd out about the same stuff, and it's
I
just a
know.
really fun network to be a part of.
I was telling my wife, I'm like, this is my happy place. Like, I just
Totally.
like it. I like,
Yeah.
I love working from home. Built this custom house, this amazing
Right.
office, but now I'm in it all the time. So I call it my fishbowl. So it's
Totally.
nice to get out of the fishbowl and get to an event with, like-minded individuals. So
Totally.
yeah,
Totally. No, dude, it's good stuff. So what's in the future for Go High Level, do you think? What are we looking down the pipe and going to see here?
man, it's hard to say because they just develop at such a rapid pace. I almost kind
They
of want
only
to
had
say,
240 releases. Come on.
I know, I want to kind of say, all right, pump the brakes. There's enough. Like, and that's
Yeah.
just like, um, but they have demonstrated that they can continue to add things. And even if there are bugs, which there are time to times or things are in, I
Yeah.
think they do a
Yeah.
good job of gestating things in beta for a while,
Yeah.
getting feedback,
They're doing a better
fixing
job.
things. Yeah, they are doing a better job. I think if they struggle in an area, and this is what I hear. I don't experience this because I don't use it, but
Yeah.
I hear that customer support can sometimes take a little bit longer than expected, and I think it's
Right.
just the number of agencies, using the platform that are coming into it.
Right.
And that's where making sure that, if you are someone on the outside and you're signing up for HighLevel and you're going to use someone's affiliate link, find someone who can provide some guidance and help,
Totally.
in addition to the help that you would get from HighLevel.
100%. 100%. I think that's the differentiator right there. And I think that for those that are trying to build an affiliate or a SaaS model, the name of the game is not to hide it, but to say, hey, you know what? Dealing with support can be a problem. My team can support you. That's why you want to do it through me, not through them directly. I think
Right.
Matt DeSanto does a great job at that. I think
He does.
I've seen you do a great job of that. I see a lot of people in the community that are just saying, hey, you know what? I hold weekly clinics on how to use specific features, and that's my add-on to you. Be my affiliate. Sign up on my link, and I'll take care of you, type of a thing. You know what I mean?
Yep. Absolutely. So, Todd, any parting words of surprise and delight, or something fun? You come across as just a positive, fun guy. Is there any?
Yeah.
Like anything that maybe people don't know about you, like, oh, I didn't know you were in a rock band. Or
I wish I was. I think one of the biggest shock and awe things that I always tell people is that I've been married for 26 years and I have 7 children, and we have 4 boys and 3 girls, and it is just the love of, it's what I do all this for,
Yeah.
And it is such a fun thing to have big families, and that's my big surprise. I'd say the other thing is that my podcast, I started the one that I started on Go High Level in 2020. I just, as a fun fact, I ended up recording 250 interviews in 13 weeks.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of interviews. This is 9 interviews a day, 3 days a week.
Ooh.
And it was all managed through Go High Level.
Yeah.
And I turned it off once I started doing my SaaS model, and I focused on SaaS, and I did that path. But as I kicked my podcast back on, it's called the Growth and Scaling Podcast. It's all about businesses that are in that 5 to 50 million range. What did they do? What key decisions did they make to get them out of launch phase and into growth and scaling mode? And it's fascinating because the thing I hear over and over and over again, Dar,
Mm-hmm.
and this will be my parting like bits of advice.
Yeah.
In almost every interview, what was the biggest thing you changed to grow and scale your business? And it was almost always people, processes, and tools. And Go High Level is the tool that I've now used with multiple, $20 million companies to operationalize their marketing and some of their key processes. And it's also the people that you hire is the people part, but the processes. And when you work inside of Go High Level, nothing works without a process. And so what I hope people jump into Go High Level and do, or in their business and go out and do, is learn how to process your workflows. Not just your digital workflows for marketing, but your workflows for how do you onboard a client? How do you do this? How do you do that? And how do you, each part of your fulfillment, you need to understand that so that it's not you doing it every time. And the minute you can take a step back, and you know this, Dar, the minute you take a step back and the system is running without you, that's when you start seeing success. And literally every guest I've had, I've now done over 450 interviews.
Wow.
And they are amazing CEOs. The stories are so fun. I encourage you to listen to it just for the sake of how did that guy do that? Well, they tell you how in the podcast. It's really
I'll link
fun.
it below so people can go check it out. But it's interesting.
Fun.
I'll just tell you myself, when we switched from SOPs that were just listed out SOPs, how to do things, to creating actual flow charts that we could visually see what the flow was, and allow us to see other things that you just don't see when you put in a list. And then we would build it in reverse. So we'd build the flow. What's the ideal flow for the best client experience? And frankly, the best employee experience as well. So the team doesn't have to do extra things. How much can we automate? That enables us to build things in high level differently than we had before.
Totally agree.
And so
agree.
That has been a kind of a game changer for us.
Well, I said, if that's what you're doing now, Dar, that will be the game changer, because I tell you what, it's almost as if I script it to every one of these founders. It's like, what were the key things that you did to grow and scale? Well, I built better processes. I consolidated my tools, and I hired people that were better than me at very specific tasks. Yeah. That's it. Every single time, Dar, every single time. So that's the big challenge we're all faced with. How do you build your business? Well, you operationalize with systems. You utilize the features of Go High Level. If that's for me, that's my base platform for all my stuff. Yep. And when you can do it in GHL, you can do it. You can grow and scale a business. And that's my parting words of advice for everybody.
I love it. Well, man, thanks for being on here today. For
my
listeners
pleasure.
out there, we're going to have Todd's links below so you can go check out his podcast, and you can go check out Captain's Council. That sounds really
check it out.
Cool.
It's fun.
So, man, Todd, thanks so much. Have an amazing rest of your year. And
thanks, Dar.
I'm sure we'll see you at the, I'll see you before the next high level event.
I hope so, man. I hope so. I love it. And for the rest of the community, man, keep it up. Keep pushing. This is the platform we want to stick with. These guys are amazing. So thanks, Dar.
All right. We'll see you later.